Today my guests are Mary and Tom Poppendeick. Mary, how are you?
Good.
Thanks for coming. Tom. Today we're talking about competency and leadership. Can you, that's such a broad term, competency. Can you give me a definition? What does that mean? Particularly in terms of software development.
Okay, well, Fred Brooks in Mythical Man wrote years ago that some software developers are 10 or 20 times more productive than others.
Right.
So how can this be? Competency is when you can really be productive and really write really excellent, sharp, clean, effective code.
Okay.
And there's a big difference between just plain, doing something and writing really good stuff.
Okay.
And it's competency that people have when they do that.
So competency is a measurement of the quality of the output of a development.
Or even how fast they can do it, or how long-standing how easy the code is to change. But it's not just developers. Okay, so for example, somebody in QA could be really effective at writing good test harnesses. Okay, or creating good test harnesses.
Sure.
So somebody could be really competent at understanding how to create good secure code.
Okay.
Or good user interaction design.
Sure.
So it's areas where you're really good at some fairly technical thing that's competency.
Okay, so this sounds like a desirable thing. We, as developers, as testers, we want to make ourselves more competent.
Yep.
We, as an industry, as managers, as owners, we want to hire or develop more competent people.
Mm-hmm.
We want to increase the competence of our teams.
Right.
And of ourselves. Is that, and how do we do that? Is that just something we're born with, or is that something we can look at, or what are the odds?
So what are the odds? There's a lot of research done in the area of expert performance. So we'll call highly competent people, experts in something.
Okay.
Now, how do you get to be expert? Well, the work of Anders Ericsson shows that it takes practice to become expert. So if you think of expert athletes or expert musicians, they have spent a long time practicing stuff that they're marginally good at to get better and better and better. Mm-hmm. If it's a diver, it's that last little twist that you do before you get into the water, or if it's a musician, they have practiced again and again the things that they need to do for this next piece that they're learning. So competency comes through practice, and there's a rule of thumb or sort of agreement among researchers that it takes 10 years of 3 or 4 hours a day of really what's called deliberate practice to get competent. Deliberate practice is when you find a skill that you want to get better at, you're not good at, you have a teacher, especially when you're starting and you're junior, a teacher says, you need to do these scales, or you need to practice this particular exercise on the balance beam, or you need to do this thing.
Right.
And every time you do it, you know if you've done it right or wrong. You get feedback.
Okay.
Either you fall off the beam, or you hit the wrong note, or you don't.
Okay.
And and so you need to get better or faster or more competent or more complicated. And as you get better and better, you keep pushing the boundaries and trying the next complicated thing that you need to learn. And the teacher says, here's the exercise for that. And you practice 2 or 3 hours a day in and day out. And if you want to really become an expert, you just have to keep doing that over and over and over again.
So there's no shortcut, there's no quick fix to this. We're talking 10 years, hard work every day.
To be really expert in whatever field, to be a really expert performer, it takes a long time to become really good. And that holds for even professionals like software developers, as well as engineers, others.
Okay, so just hard practice, if you want to get that to the expert level of
diligent practice.
Hard, diligent practice, okay. And then what about as a team? If we get a bunch of experts together on a team, is that enough to make a good team?
Only if it's a good team. I mean, teams.
Well, you heard use
not
high performance team. That's what
high performance teams will have good individuals on them, but a team is much more than 5.
So that's not sufficient.
That's not sufficient.
Necessarily not sufficient.
No, you have to have good performers. Think about two basketball teams playing each other.
Yep.
You can have a bunch of stars, and you can have another bunch of people that have played together for 3 years and really know how to work as a team. Which one's going to win?
I'm going to go with the second one.
And I will too.
All right.
So it's not being stars that's the important thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not being able to make a basket from way out here. It's the team as a group knows how to move that ball around and pass it to the right person who will be in the right spot at the right time to make the right shot. So the team has learned how to work together as a group and to accomplish what they set out to accomplish. A high-performing team has everybody, they have agreed with themselves what their objective is. They're committed to doing it. They've taken on the challenge and they make it happen.
Okay, so that's that mutual commitment that you talked
Yep,
about.
mutual commitment.
Everybody's committed to the same goal.
Yep.
They're all working toward it, and they're not only working to improve themselves, but they're working toward that goal.
I really think Code Mash is a great example, and I used it even in the talk today.
Uh-huh.
Because Code Mash is put together by a group of 7, 8 people.
Mhm.
This is its 4th year. This is now a big conference, 700 people.
Yep. It's really
And it started at 200 and went to like 400 and 500 and now it's 700. And that group of people, I've watched them every year, how they do an amazing job of thinking about all the details and all the logistics and everything just clicks. Everything works. And as coming in as a speaker, somebody's sort of my shepherd to make sure that I get everything that I need, and everybody, there's so much complicated stuff, and they all dive in and make it happen. Somebody handles the finance, somebody works with the hotel, somebody gets volunteers, somebody does the printing, somebody works on the speakers. It's all there, and it's grown and grown. They've gotten good at it, and every year it happens on deadline, and it's always a great conference. And it's that those 7 people now, they have become a truly high-performing team, and that's a really good example of some marvelous thing that has come from just a core of people who all pitch in with their own special talents and make something happen.
Go ahead.
All of the high-performance people and all of the high-performance teams we've encountered share a clear purpose, a passion for what they're doing. They really want something. They keep at it. They have persistence. And they're very proud of the result. The purpose of the Code Mash group, putting on an excellent low-cost conference for the local community.
Mm-hmm.
The pride, it grows year by year. They can be very proud of what they did, and they certainly feel that when you talk to the people.
Yeah, that's a big motivation for them.
Persistence, and you've done it for 4 years. And passion. You can't keep on doing this unless you really, really enjoy and get great pleasure out of doing this kind of work.
Okay, so these are all the ingredients for a high-performing team.
Mhm.
These things. And I noticed you didn't mention leadership, either in general for a high-performance team, and you didn't mention it for this particular team.
Okay, this team has a leader, and everybody knows it's Jim Home.
Okay.
Jim,
Is that
Jim
so?
or
Is
John?
that Jim? Yeah.
Jim Home. He's the leader. He's very low-key, quiet,
Okay.
in the background, handles the finance. But if you asked anybody of those group who it would have been him. Initially, he had the vision, and I think he pulls big things together when necessary. But he's not the one that's out there telling everybody what to do. He's the one that just sort of really causes everything to kind of gel.
Okay, so he's not the leader that yells and bosses people around. He's a different kind of leader.
I don't see him as that at all.
So is that another component of a high performance team, is to have an effective leader?
Well, it depends upon the team, because sometimes leadership will bounce around, depending upon the need. It could be that the conference has somebody else that picks it up at a different point in time, like in the summertime. A big team will have a leader for sure. A smaller team might pass leadership off.
Okay.
As
that role
things
has to be
happen.
filled, but
By
doesn't
somebody.
necessarily have to be filled by the same person.
If you've ever seen like a jazz band, there's always a leader, and it's never necessarily the same person.
Uh-huh.
And we used to go to jazz concert and we watch a group of 4, and it would be time for the next song, and they would look at each other, and they just quickly sort of, which song are we going to do? They'd agree on the song, and somebody would step up and start setting the time.
They would change from song to song.
And they know who.
Okay.
They would all know who it would be. And the same person usually starts it and then pulls it together at the end and keeps it going in the middle. And so even a small group like that needs somebody to set the tempo and keep them all together. But if it's a big group, it'll be somebody that's pretty much determined.
Okay, so let's talk about leadership a little bit. What are some of the qualities that, or some of the things that go into being an effective leader of a team? Again, we're talking mostly about the software development industry.
Well, I think if you go back to what Tom said, teams to perform effectively need to have a purpose.
Okay.
Where do they get it from?
So they're the
Where's the vision of
responsibility
why we're doing
vision
this?
of the team.
Somebody has to make it happen. That really is the starting point. Where is the vision? A good product that goes on the market will have somebody who had a vision of a really important customer need and some neat technology that will solve that problem. Typically an entrepreneur.
Okay.
And they will then round up people who get their vision and help them to make that reality. So there's a purpose. People are not just sort of joining a company to join a company. There's this vision of, we can put on this great conference or we can put this great product on the market. So somebody needs to create that vision and the purpose for which people are doing things and help sort of convey the passion that they have to others. And then there's somebody has to make sure that stuff gets done.
Okay.
I mean, in the end, when you do something, anything, there's many things that have to fall together in order for it to happen. If it's a new product, it's not just the code that has to be developed. It's the customers have to be found. It's test market. It's marketing literature. It's funding. There's all kinds of stuff that whatever has to happen, somebody got to make sure that it all falls in place, that somebody picks up all the different pieces. And so that's the kind of thing that it's good to have a leader to just sort of keep track and make sure that everybody understands, is committed, is motivated, and makes all of the various things happen that have to be taken into account. And a leader will also sort of solve problems, kind of jump over any kind of crazy hurdles that get in the way, make sure that if something doesn't have somebody picking it up, that they pick it up. That's right.
That's a lot of responsibility. Is that good?
The most important responsibility, though, is to bring the team into contact and understanding with the people they are serving. So they understand the problem that they're solving for the customer, so that they understand the business opportunity. Because when they understand the customer as a person or as a group of people, and they have a direct understanding personally of why they're doing it, that is what permits them to be proud of their work.
Okay.
That's what drives passion, because I'm helping this person. I'm helping exploit an opportunity that we can all benefit from.
Right.
It's not that somebody's telling me what to do.
It's not just a set of tasks that you're carrying out.
My leader has helped me understand the customer.
You take ownership of that goal, the end goal.
Yes. So transferring the ownership is a critical piece.
Okay.
So I can be proud.
Is that enough to, so that's a lot for one person to handle. Is that, if we have multiple leaders on the team? Or is that too much? Is that,
Well, I'm stopping with this, that's a lot for one person to handle. I'm not sure that that's true.
Okay.
I think that when somebody is keenly interested and passionate about something, they will naturally try to gather up a group of people and say, let's head in this direction, and they will communicate their interest and their excitement about it, or their dedication to it, and they'll get people motivated and get people to commit. So that is sort of like, I think it happens a lot. I think it's a fairly natural thing.
Natural in the sense that even if the organization didn't appoint a leader, that a leader would emerge.
Well, actually, I'm not thinking in terms of organization right now. I'm actually thinking in terms of, think of an entrepreneur that has a brand new idea.
Yep.
They'll kind of naturally want to gather together some people and make it happen.
Right.
And what I like to think about inside of a company is an inside entrepreneur that basically can do the same thing.
Okay. Inside entrepreneur is, define that.
Inside entrepreneur, well, you know what an entrepreneur is.
Okay.
So in my company, 3M, what we tried to have was internal entrepreneurs, which meant somebody inside that had a brilliant idea about a product, got some resource people funding, made it happen.
Oh, okay.
Put the product in the market.
Got it.
But got to do it from inside the company rather than outside.
Okay. And so these people that either they've started their own company or they've started some project within a larger company. They've taken ownership, they have that passion, they have that drive, so they naturally emerge as the leaders of a team that they form.
I think that it's good for products to have somebody that really believes in them and is interested in them and wants to make them happen. And it might not be their front-end idea, but when they understand, here, this is something that would be very interesting for the company, they can get interested in it and bring others there too.
Okay. How about just teaching? The leaders have a role of teaching the people on their team, just the jobs they're responsible for, and
So
providing feedback.
if we pretend that we're not leaders, but we're some new person that's just come into the company. Okay, Jack, and he's just out of college a year or two. What you have to do is pretend you're in Jack's shoes.
Okay.
What does he need? Okay, the research basically shows that what he's looking for is somebody who's giving him work direction and appraising, giving him feedback as to how well he's doing, and determining how much compensation he'll get because of that. And he's looking for that person because that person is going to set expectations. And what he perceives as the expectations of that person he will try to fill. So the first thing you have to look at is, from his point of view, who are setting those expectations and giving the direction, and what kind of, are they good at? Are they good at understanding him, at giving him good guidance? The second thing he needs is ways to get better at his technical specialty. Because remember, he's not got any 10 years of experience yet.
Right, far from.
So where is he going to get it from? Like, is it just going to materialize out of thin air? Probably not. So where is if he's a tester that's supposed to put together a new build system, where is the test manager or the senior technical person that knows how to do that, that's going to help him, that's going to guide him, give him some small things to do, and sort of mentor him along so he learns how to do things. So first of all, he does the simple stuff, and then he learns how to do more stuff. Where is that going to happen? So that's the other thing he needs. And then he needs to have feedback to see if he's doing a good job or not. And he doesn't need that every year or every quarter. He needs that like every day.
Right.
And he just basically also needs a good working environment, sort of comrades and people that he will feel comfortable with. So from a leader's perspective, if you think about what Jack needs, who's going to provide him? Where are the leaders that are going to give him the competency, give him the guidance on how to make customers happy, the overall vision of why he's doing his job? Where's the people who are going to just be the one he's looking to set expectations on how what he's supposed to do and how he's supposed to perform.
Sure.
And so those people, the first line supervisor, the product lead, the competency manager, those people are going to be important leaders so that all the new people in the company become competent and become good contributors in the company.
Right.
I think really good, excellent companies will have leaders at every level.
Okay.
They'll have leaders starting from the front line all the way up.
Yep.
Good leaders.
And I think that's the hardest thing to do, isn't it? These frontline leaders, getting that leadership distributed throughout the company.
Yeah, companies should understand, I believe, and focus on the fact that is a very important job, because that's what everybody is looking to is their immediate boss and their expectations. When you can have a really good person, a good leader that motivates and inspires people, that the first person they look to for guidance is somebody who's doing a really good job of being a leader and being a manager and doing it well. Good management rather than bad management is what I like to say.
Sure.
Then all through the company, you're going to start having more higher performance.
What's your opinion of the software industry? How are we as an industry doing in terms of developing leaders?
Immature.
Immature. Well, the industry as a whole is younger than most industries.
Yeah, right. I think it needs a little growing up to do.
So that's our excuse. And so you say we've got a long way to go in that regard.
Oh, I think it's unfair to say software industry, because I go into companies that do a really good job of this, and I go into companies that do a really bad job of this.
Okay.
And I don't think it's really the software industry.
You can't generalize, you're saying.
I'm not ready to.
Okay. All right. Well, I totally agree that the industry's immature, and there are some issues that there's a lot of things we haven't figured out yet, and so we're kind of lagging stealing from other industries.
Mature industries are making the same mistakes.
Yeah, right, that's
I
the
guess there's
point.
some consolation.
But focusing only on the software
Uh-huh.
as a separate industry is probably a serious mistake. Because software by itself has no value to almost anybody.
Okay.
The software is valuable when it solves a problem for somebody.
Okay.
And it's seldom software alone that does the problem solving. It's the software along with something else. And it's a total product that we have to focus on, not just the software part. There's huge diversity in the number of different kinds of things that software is a part of.
Sure.
And there are many, many industries involved. It's not just one industry.
Yep.
Embedded software and transactional software are two huge divisions.
Yep.
Very, very different from each other. Lumping them together just because they both use code is probably overgeneralizing.
Okay. I think that's fair to say. So part of the issue, and maybe I'm propagating this by using the phrase software industry, part of the issue is that we need to focus not on software in itself, but on problem solving, adding value to the business, adding value to the customer.
I think you focus on customers
The
first.
software is just a tool to help us do that.
Yes.
Okay.
So really,
I'll try to do a
the
better
companies
job.
that really get it are the ones that go customer first. Focus on customers. Who's customers? Customers is anybody who pays for it, uses, supports, or derives value from the systems that our software is part of.
Okay. That could be external, it could be internal, it could be we're adding value to it.
Mhm.
Purpose of the company is to delight and take good care of those customers.
Okay. And software people ought to be part of that.
They should be.
Part of our process.
If you say that there is the company and IT,
Mhm.
you've immediately failed.
Because you separate them.
You've separated them.
Okay.
You have to say our business, not the business.
Got it. All right. Anything else you want to add?
Not right now.
Where can people find out more about the Poppendeick?
Haha, www.poppendeick.com, and the only trick is you have to spell Poppendeick right.
I can put it on the screen, right?
Google will help.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time, and
Thanks a
I
lot.
enjoyed your talk today.
I have a lot of friends in high technology.